Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, viewers at home. You're welcome to the special edition of The Agenda. Yes, I know you're surprised to see me here as your host. Of course, my name is LG, and with me in the studio today are the man who is our usual moderator on The Agenda. Today, he's a guest, and wherever you are, I'd like you to give it up for Pastor Abiodun Famojuro. I mean, he's a passionate Nigerian, and he's so passionate that maybe moderating doesn't cut it for him anymore. He needs to sit and, bear his mind on one or two things as we begin to look into them today. Also, the other guest that we have here with me is Seyi Mafolabomi. Yes, Seyi Mafolabomi, also another very passionate Nigerian. And today, on this edition of The Agenda, we're looking at the state of the nation. The state of the nation. Now, before we go on, I'd like to ask them, maybe in one sentence or two, they are going to tell us, to them, what is the state of the Nigerian nation? Before we go to what I want us to focus on this edition of The Agenda. Pastor Abiodun Famojuro, how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic.
Okay, so tell me, what is the state of the Nigerian nation, if you were to describe the state of the Nigerian nation?
Interesting question. Some few days ago, we turned 60. And so Nigeria is in a state of rebirth, renaissance, reactualization. It is in a state of asking questions. We're in a critical state right now because we're 60 years old. And it is time for us to take action on the things that we spoke about that we were going to do, but we did not do. Because 60 is a very, very remarkable number. It's our diamond anniversary, and that was just some years ago. People are congratulating us all over the place. There's a mixture of emotions. So the question right now is this: what are we going to do now that we are 60? And that is a question that every Nigerian must answer, and every leader must answer.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I mean, the Bible teaches us that, teach us to number our days so that we may apply our hearts to wisdom. So I really like the fact that you took the state of the nation from the point that just yesterday we clocked 60 as a nation. Correct. So we need to apply the Nigerian heart to wisdom, right? Very much so. Okay, that works. So, Seyi, tell me, how would you describe the state of the nation?
Well, for me, I think that we're at the stage where we are getting more robust in terms of public knowledge. And I think that that's what we need at this point. Individuals are beginning to participate more in politics, understanding what they need to know from their government, and asking critical questions, which is something that any nation that wants to develop really needs at this time. And so just like Pastor Abiodun said, we are at the point where we are thinking more and more beyond the scope of what it used to be for us. And because maybe many young Nigerians are now on social media, we are beginning to ask ourselves the right questions. Where are we going as a nation? What are we going to be doing as a nation? And how do we come together to make sure that Nigeria is a lot better than what we had before?
Okay, another interesting view there. I know you may have your own idea of what the state of the Nigerian nation is, but on today's show, I'm going to ask my guest here a particular question. I mean, going out right off the back of what you just said, lots of Nigerians are on social media. A whole lot of things happen in Nigeria, and we don't get to feel it. Maybe you're in the north, something is happening in the south. You don't get to feel it, but you get to see, images and pictures on social media. So social media seems to have brought an awareness of what is happening across the length and breadth of the nation in Nigeria to the knowledge of a whole lot of people. Now, one of those things that I want to talk about today is the security of lives. The security of lives, the security of Nigerians, regardless. I mean, looking at one of the most popular things that we've seen on social media concerning security of lives, people have talked about attacks. People have talked about people dying, people being killed, up north, down south, east, west. We see these things all around, and they usually have religious tones. This thing has caused even me, even while I'm here now, to wonder that as a nation, what is the role of the government in ensuring that when things like this happen, that perpetrators need to be brought to book? What do you think the government needs to do?
First, you were talking about the media, so let's start from the place of the social media.
Absolutely.
Why are people not, when these things happen, this sad, dastardly acts happen, why does it seem as if we're disconnected? It is because Nigerians have gotten to a place where we're desensitized. Our sensitivities, once upon a time you would be shocked and they would tell you graphic images, but you've seen so many graphic images that Nigerians are like, who is dying next?
Whoa.
Well, what's going to happen next?
Whoa.
So there's a disconnect from a lot of things until it happens to someone in the closest proximity to you. We are desensitized, which is most unfortunate. No nation must ever get to a point where it is comfortable with tragedy. No nation must ever get to a point where it is comfortable with tragic situations occurring within its territory. So when it comes to the matter of security of lives and property, yes, it's the responsibility of the government. Promote good governance, promote the rule of law, enforce fundamental human rights, and protect the life of the citizens and everyone within its borders. If the government is not doing that as they ought to, then questions need to be asked. Do they need help? Are they having some challenges? Are there things that they cannot come out explicitly to tell us? Why? Because in the realm of intelligence, there are things you cannot disclose. You know, the children, the choice of school that your children will go to is not the children's decision, it's yours and your wife. So there are decisions that will happen behind closed doors in a room, whereby you will determine what will happen to the children. So it's possible that there are certain things, but we need to arrest the growth. We need to arrest the manifestation. The government needs to look into it because lives matters. And the reality is this: no matter whose life is lost, everyone's blood is still red.
Beautiful. I mean, no matter whose life is lost, everyone's blood is still red. Now, the question I'll ask you, Seyi, is this. When we look at the trend of the reports that we have heard, you know, most of the time, I think, the religious killings, we've heard a lot of that. It has gotten to a point where a lot of Christians in Nigeria feel like they are an extinct group. You know, they suffer, they receive the short end of the stick when it comes to all of this violence and killings. What do you think should be done? What is the role of the church first in the fact that, you know, Christians get killed a lot? I mean, we get a lot of that report. I mean, so that Christians are now saying it, that Christians' lives matter, because it seems the lives of a lot of Christians get lost when these things happen. What do you think the government can do? What do you think the government can do?
Okay. Well, I'll write off from you saying what the church can do. And I think that one of the issues that the church has is that it's not all Christians that are saying Christian lives matter. Some have become quite complacent in believing that, oh, the world is coming to an end. This is part of the persecution we are going to face as Christians. Therefore, whatever they do to us, we just lift up our hands and sing Kumbaya. But that's not the issue. The issue is that Christian lives are still Nigerian lives, and they're as important as any other life out there. That needs to be impressed upon Christians by the church, by everybody who is involved. We are stakeholders in ensuring that as people in a country, we understand what the rule of law is, we understand what our fundamental human rights are as citizens primarily, not just based off of what the Bible says we are or we should expect. Because the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ is not going to be preceded by persecution. It is the Spirit and the bride that we say come. And it is not because we are dying. It is because we are living a glorious life. We so much want to be one with Jesus, not that we are being killed off on a regular basis. So we need to stop that sensitive nature, that emotional, empathetical manner of saying, oh,
of writing it off as just persecution.
We just write it off like this is persecution. No. Nigeria is a secular state. We have fundamental rights as Christians, and we must rise up to protect those rights. So if we want to secure our lives here, we must come from the angle of the law. The church must educate its members. This is what you have as a right. And this is what you can obtain in the courts of law. This is what you can obtain by peaceful protest. This is what you can obtain. So don't be complacent. Now, to the Nigerian state, of course, from what Pastor Abiodun has said, obviously everyone has gotten to a state of being numb, because we have seen these things so many times on repeat. And like, it's just become so normal. Like, this is what it is. Oh, another person just died. Well, wow, what a day. And that shouldn't be so. Now, the government also, I understand that, yes, there are things in the realm of intelligence that we can't reveal to the public, which is fine. But unfortunately, our information management has also been very poor. Now, Nigerians need to understand that steps are being taken. No matter how secretive you want to get, even if it's the little hint of information that you give to ensure that people are being brought to justice, for the acts that they are perpetrating. Not just that people can go into a village and kill off many people and seemingly just walk free. We need to stop that narrative. Both as individuals, and as the government must understand that this is not something that can keep going on. So they must feed Nigerians the right information so that our sensitivities are aroused again, and we begin to see that killings should not be normal. If the government is not numb to killings, the people will be aroused as well.
Oh, wow.
There is something that Seyi said, if you don't mind, let me quickly come in here.
Please do so.
He said it's about information management. Nigeria as a nation needs to amplify the voice of unity.
Yes.
Look, I am dressed the way I am dressed today deliberately. I mean, who is a Nigerian? I am tired of someone asking you, what is your name? And then you mention your name and they say, where are you from? Stop asking me, where am I from? Why? You are asking me, look, every time someone asks you where you're from, they are trying to put you in a box so that they can capture you in a stereotype. I'll say it again. Every time someone asks you, where are you from? They're trying to put you in a box so that they can capture you in a stereotype. We need to stop it. It's promoting disunity, disharmony. It's promoting conflict. All lives matter. Christian lives matter. Interestingly, you know the dimension between the North and the South. One of the ironies is because people are not properly enlightened in information management. There are lots of Christians in the South and in the North. They have persons of all religious dispositions who from different backgrounds. So the Christian lives matters because the information management is 5 churches are burnt, 10 churches are burnt. And somebody's asking, okay, churches burnt, and they're wondering what's going on. But if someone is able to, once upon a time, there was a story about a faithful Muslim who protected Christians that ran into his house. That information got out. I don't know if it got out courtesy of social media, but the man was commended, he was celebrated. The government, the machinery of communication needs to be properly managed. So when the military succeeds in dealing with certain bandits or miscreants or whoever they are, there's a great celebration. When they've recorded, let us amplify their successes. But when you hear several villages sacked, and then you ask, okay, so who are they? And they say, oh, well, 17 churches were burned. How? Shed no blood. It cries out. There has to be, in the new Nigeria, 60 years moving on, the bloodletting has to stop. When you shed innocent blood, it brings forth challenges to the nation. And that is what is happening. Because, I mean, let us know what is happening. What are you doing? And you know something? The social media is a very important tool, but it has the capacity for negative weaponization. Someone can create a fictional story and push it out there, and very few people will verify. The fourth estate of the realm has to rise up to the occasion. They are aligned persons without the integrity of ethics and journalism to control the narrative.
Now, I really like what you said about the fourth estate of the realm. Yes. I love what you said. Now, you see, when it comes to the fourth estate of the realm, there are incidents that happen that don't seem to, get the due publicity for the public to be aware. Killings. We hear it sometimes, not while it is going on. Maybe it has happened, and then we just hear traces of that information. Now, what I'm asking is, what is the role of the press you said the fourth estate of the realm needs to rise up. What is the role of the press in suppressing, in stopping? You've spoken about the role of the church, you've spoken about the role of the government. Now, the press, as important as they are, do you think they've been doing a good job? Do you think there's something they need to do better to ensure that these killings are brought to a halt?
Or to a level of accountability?
To a level of accountability, yes. I think that works.
Are they doing enough, Seyi? Do you think they're doing enough?
Well, I think that if I would say this, I think that there's more of reporting and less of activism from the media. One of the things that the media needs to understand is that they are a part of the people. They are not in the middle. They are not someone...
Not insulated.
Yes, they are not someone just reporting the news and just giving it, feeding the people and saying, oh, this is what happened today, and that's just it. One of the things that makes an industrial nation rise is the fact that the fourth estate of the realm understands the trajectory of development, where a nation should go. They ask the right questions. They don't just report the news. They ask questions that make the government come out and be accountable, that make people groups come out and be accountable, that make everybody understand that this issue is something that affects everybody. Now, if we look at the issue of the unity that we have as a country, we are polarized already. As a nation, we have Christian values, we have Islamic values, we have traditional values, we have Hausa values, we have Yoruba values, but we don't have Nigerian values. And that's a big issue. The moment we don't have that single thing or that collective value trait, the principles that bind us as a nation, that makes us see the three of us outside and we identify as Nigerian, not specifically as Igbo, Hausa, or Yoruba, or Fulani, that time is when Nigeria begins to walk towards freedom. And now the media has a huge role to play, because one of the places that everybody converges is at the media stand. Regardless of where you are, regardless of what you're doing, regardless of what place you are from, we all come to the news. We all want to understand what is going on in the country. And so we need to be fed right. It's not just that you report, you have to play an activist role in ensuring that government is steered in the right direction, the people are steered in the right focus, and we begin to ask the right questions of those that we have given power.
But we used to have those values.
Yes.
We used to have the Nigerian values.
Yes.
We used to have humanistic values. I'll give you an example. I mean, many years ago, you would bring a sharpener from school that your parents did not buy for you, and they will ask you a fundamental question.
Yes, where did you get it from?
If you're unable to give a satisfactory answer, the rod and the staff will
not depart from you.
They will not depart from you.
Yes,
and then your parents will take you to school to interrogate where the sharpener came from.
Yes.
Today, some person, look, love.
Pastor Abiodun, let me just hold you right there. So, because there's an important question that I want to ask. Now, what I want to ask you is two questions, actually, so I can finish his thought process. What is the role of investigative journalism in getting to the root of these matters, or should we just leave it to security agencies, all right? Just so we can, let me let you answer that question, because I want you to hold that thought right there. There's something important that I want us to touch in considering the state of the nation.
You know, one of the popular phrases from, I'm so sorry that I have to share this, but there's a popular song that says, nobody won't die, but they won't go heaven. We all know the utopia that we see in Nigeria. All of us, we see it. Journalists see it. Now, who is going to go into that jungle? It has become such a dangerous ecosystem for people. You know, you get the reports that lives are, lost. People are dying for asking questions and things like that. Now, it causes a sort of panic in the hearts of those who are supposed to go forward. The fear is also that when you take that step forward, all the people who pushed you to say, fight for us, do this for us, go forward for us, by the time you take that bold step, you just discover that you are alone. So investigative journalism is crucial to something that we have as a country. But who's going to bail the cat? That's the vital question that we must always ask. who has that courage, who has that
liver?
tenacity, who get liver,
Who get the
you know,
liver
that I'm going to go into this place and ask these questions. Yes, we see that journalists also may have become sort of an endangered species, not just in Nigeria, but the world over, because we live in an information-based economy now, right from the tabloids down to social media. And then the government understands that we need to be able to control the information that we feed the people because, like Pastor Abiodun said, many of them are dangerous, many of them are etched along the wrong lines, and so they can cause cataclysmic issues. But then when there's an investigative journalist who's unbiased, without prejudice, is able to go into the issues, we will come out on the other side looking brilliant, looking like, well, someone actually has the foresight to find out these issues. We are not even just trying to blame anybody. We are trying to find the truth so that all Nigerians understand what is going on. And so that is a value that journalism may have lost, but I think that we are beginning to find the grounds. We have some very talented young people who are pushing forward and saying, you know, we are going to get to the end of this matter regardless. And that's what Nigerians need to understand. Be supportive of the media. Ask questions of the media. Tell the media, this is what we want to know. Don't just give us headlines. What happened exactly? How did this come to be? Let's push forward a little bit beyond what we naturally are comfortable with.
All right. So now the next question I want to go into, thank you very much for that input. The next question I want to ask is, it is said that the nation is, that the society is formed by the families within it. All right. Now, you were saying something earlier on about a value that we had lost. I mean, go in those days that you went to school with a particular thing, you came back with a different one, your parents are going to, you know, deal with you and get to the root of the matter. I want to ask you, in forestalling future occurrences and securing a peaceful and a safer climb for the next generation, what do you think is the role of the family unit in stopping these incessant killings?
The magnification of love, the amplification of love, the expression of love. The family, once upon a time, was not father, mother, and just children.
Yep.
The family was everybody that comes within your ecosystem that you can be a blessing to, that you can communicate to. The family is Tunde loving Ada, Ibrahim loving Tawase. That is the family that we used to have. So when young couples, when young Nigerians serving from whatever religious or ethnic backgrounds, they go to all parts of Nigeria, they were celebrated.
Yes.
Nowadays, it's not so convenient as a core member to go to certain parts. If you're of a religious inclination, there is an absence of love. Look, you cannot, within the right frame of mind, desire to consciously, deliberately take the life of another person because he holds a different mindset or a different view from yours. You must, I mean, how would someone love if someone comes and says, hey, do you believe in what I believe in? No, I don't. Why? I just don't have a different view. Okay, because you don't believe in what I believe in, I end you. You didn't create him.
Yes.
You didn't make him.
Yes.
So there has to be that investment. So when we're talking about Christian life matters, the understanding is this: a people that subscribe to a peaceful coexistence in their creed says, you know what, this is who we are. This is what, we don't subscribe to violence, we don't subscribe to conflict, and we're going about doing the things that we want to do. We've been here for a while. And you say, okay, we can work with you. Most of the communities that no longer exist have been existing for centuries, for years. How long? So when we go back to the subject, and we need to begin to teach, because look, nobody was born to hate.
Yes.
Nobody.
They were taught.
Yes.
They were taught.
Nobody was born to hate. That is the reason why in children, the default setting is love. In children, the default setting is love. You find two children, they don't know each other, they play, and maybe there's a little conflict observed by the adults, and you settle it. Those same children will go back and play again, forgetting that they just had a conflict. Yes. The adult can keep conflict for 20-something years, and they will not forget. So for us to amplify the voice of love in the nation, and also in our communication with government and those in leadership, we will speak from the point of love. Because leadership is responsibility. Leadership is influence. And so from the family unit, we need to let everybody know, yes, I love you. Love is a verb, is an action word. Love is not just a mere colloquial expression or an expression in whichever way you want to look at it. And that is why we need to let everybody know, Nigeria as a nation, Christian life matters, whole life matters.
Now, I like the fact that the both of you have, emphasized a bit that all lives matter. However, I need to emphasize this. It seems when we hear of a lot of Christians losing their lives in religious killings, the news brings out a lot of these things. In northern Nigeria, most of the time. Do you think we're getting enough justice? Do you think Christians, the lives that are being lost, mostly Christians, do you think they're getting justice the way the government should let them have it?
So the question I'll ask you is this, and I know Seyi's going to contribute. I do not know of anyone who has been arrested. Yes. I might be wrong. Maybe I don't have access to that information. I don't know. Do you know of anyone who has been arrested as a brain behind the massacres, the killings, the wrong acts? I don't know of anyone. Do you know of anyone that has been taken to court? Do you know of anyone that is awaiting trial concerning this negative, provocative acts?
Do you know?
I think that the issue is not even that, because of, obviously, that's a rhetorical question. Yes. I personally don't know anybody that has been brought to book, but I think that one of the things that we have as a nation is how we tend to shy away from issues that have to do with religion. We see these things happen in our communities. We see it happen, but then there's just a way we want to tone it down. We don't want to believe this is what is happening. We don't want to agree that this is what is happening. And then we don't want to put pressure on the right judicial system that helps us bring justice to the matter. And I think that this is it. The first and foremost thing that comes to my mind when a person dies is, should this person have died? Understanding the principle of the value of life from a Christian standpoint, from a political standpoint, economically and judicially, legally, you understand that anybody who has been taught properly understands that there is more potential in a life that is allowed to live than one that is cut short. And so the value that you place on a person's life is on what that person can do that benefits your society. And so you don't end that person based on what he is unable to do for you, but on what he is able to do for the society at large. That helps you understand what the value of life is. So when we are teaching that in our homes, it's an appendage of our love. We know that this is it. When I hear that someone has died, my first thought is not, is that person Christian? Is that person Yoruba? Is that person... my point is, should that person have died? Why? Was it killed as a legal issue? Is it that this is what the justice demands, that it may be as a sentence of the court or something? How? Was it an accident? Why should he have died? It should be a vital question for us. But when these questions are not asked, and we are quick to defend the manner of the death. There's something that Nigerians like to do. The moment there's an issue, we don't take that issue and focus on it. We begin to look at other issues that are just circumstantial, and then we want to focus on it. The person who died, it's not my business if it's Christian, if it's Muslim. The point is, why did that person have to die? Every other thing is circumstantial. I can now begin to think, wow, I love this person as a Christian brother. That is even now more painful. Yes. But then this person should not have died. And I'm going to step out and speak up simply because that life should not have been lost.
All right. So beautiful. The both of you have said it, extensively, that Christians' lives matter.
Yes.
All right. And this is because a whole lot of Christians have received the short end of the stick. They've been victims when it comes to religious killings and, killings generally, whether it's religious or not, they've been killings. Now, but the way you have driven your conversation and the way this discourse has gone, I think your clear message has been that not just Christian lives, nobody deserves to die anyhow in a state where the government is functional. All right. Now, in your own way, on a final note, because of they say there's always a trigger about something. the death of a lot of Christians in Nigeria without adequate response from the government is what has prompted us to discuss this issue here today. All right. Now, in your own way, how are we going to, just emphasize it, maybe in one sentence, that Christian lives indeed matter, and the government should, rise to ensure that that fear is taken out of the average Christian in Nigeria, that they do not matter, that anybody can kill them and nothing would happen?
The government has to ensure that they communicate to everyone within the borders of Nigeria that Christian life matters and all life matters. That means that justice must be done.
Yes.
Look,
Yes.
if a wicked person decides to come to harm you in your house,
Yes.
and he comes the first time, gets away with it, he goes. He comes around the second time, sees that nothing has changed, and then he robs you again. He's emboldened the second time.
Yes.
He's emboldened the
Yes.
third time. And then he might just decide to become a regular customer. Justice must be seen, not to be talked about, but to be manifestly seen to be done. There's too much talk about, we will bring them to book. They will account for it. No stone will be left unturned. They have become rhetorics. They have become spin expression. That someone says, oh, this is sad. If the killings were measured by how flying the flag at half-mast, the Nigerian flag will continually fly at half-mast.
Probably would have been buried, though.
Yes, because you hear about the, so the government they're trying, but they need to do better. They need to do better. They need to send a strong message that in Nigeria, we do not take the killing of any citizen for granted.
Yes.
We do not take it lightly, and we will respond adequately to such incidences. There is no, and you see, perception is key.
It's key, yes.
The moment the people perceive that the government, when it comes to certain matters, is quiet, then the persons perpetrating the act will be emboldened. I believe that the government is desirous of doing more, and they should do more.
I really see the point you have made now. Yes. What do you think of that? Because the question I want to close with, we've moved from the fact that, yes, Christian lives matter. We have established it. We've established it also on the show that a whole lot of Christians, are now, they have that fear that their lives do not matter because the government is not doing anything. While I take the input of Seyi here, and once he shares it, there's something that I would like our guests to charge us with before we close the show. But tell me, what do you think the government can do to eradicate that fear from the heart of the Nigerian Christian, that their life is a risk, so that they would just know that indeed, as a Christian in Nigeria, my life truly matters?
Well, for me, two things. Ensuring that the machinery of state, the judicial system, is put to full use in these matters. No sentiments, no contradictions. The moment issues like this happen, if you have to send in the armed forces, if you have to send in whatever needs to be done, that thing must be done. Now, beyond that, information management is also very key for me, because the moment,
agree on that.
The moment you don't tell people what is happening, the moment you don't let them see, you don't let them understand, you don't let them know the processes, then they have the capacity to interpret your silence or your misinformation in whatever way they can. And that will now be subject to their own intelligence and not yours. So you need to be able to let people understand what is going on. Manage the information properly. I think it's time we stop seeing so many committees being formed on these kind of issues and actually just take direct judicial action. Let it not be that when it comes to issues of religious killings, that's when there's a need for a committee. We don't have the need for a committee in the Constitution, in any administration of criminal justice laws, anywhere. It's straight. If you apprehend a person who has committed this crime, take that person to the courts. Let that person face the full force of the law. And that's what should be seen consistently.
Okay. I mean, these...
Just a few seconds, please, if you may. He mentioned committees.
Yes.
Let me say this. Committees without commitment will commit crime.
Yeah, I think I heard that.
Committees without commitment will commit crime. That's one. Two, assumption in the hands of the ignorant and the uninformed is a deadly weapon.
Yes.
Assumptions in the hands of the ignorant and the uninformed is a deadly weapon. where you do not give people sufficient information, they will manufacture their own.
Yes,
They will create their own.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. I mean, these gentlemen have done great justice to the issue that has been bothering a whole lot of people in Nigeria. And I'm sure that you as a Nigerian, as you watch right now, you are listening. There's something profound that has been said by one of our guests and has been echoed by the other, is that no matter who dies, no matter their religion, whether they be Christian or Muslim, whether they be from the north, from the south, from the east, from the west, so far they are human, their blood is red. So, because red blood flows in you and in me and in every one of us, I like to close this show by asking this question. The government needs the help of its citizens, yes or yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Now, in fostering peace and unity, what should every citizen do? First, as a Christian, I mean, for those who are Christians, and, secondly, as a Nigerian, as a human in Nigeria, what should you do to work hand in hand with the government to ensure that everybody, no matter their religion, feel comfortable? They know that their life is important and they are not walking on eggshells because they know anything can happen and they can die and all of that. So what do you think citizens should do to foster peace and unity
I
in Nigeria?
believe firmly there should be a dimension of understanding spiritual dynamics in the place of prayer, one. Secondly, in the place of getting involved. There's a level of aggression in condemnation of government.
Yes.
So for a number of people, government cannot do anything right. That is not true. Where they get things right, celebrate them. No matter how short, no matter how small it is, they're doing certain things right, give them their due. They're sharing some videos of certain things they've done, acknowledge it, be patriotic. I find that Nigerians outside Nigeria are more patriotic than when they're in Nigeria. When you get outside of the country or the continent and you see someone speaking your mother tongue, you get excited and you speak whether you know the person or the person is interested in you or not, you speak your mother tongue. The person said, you are my person. Diego. And then you engage with that person. Why are we not patriotic here? And then listen, complacency is dangerous. It doesn't concern me. It's not my business. It has not affected me. Are you waiting for it to affect you? No, don't wait. You know that popular story, they came for the Jews, they came for this, I was quiet. When they came for me,
everybody
there was nobody
quiet
because
as well.
We have to stop being, you can communicate in a respectful, in a polite, in an impassioned, not inflammatory way that the government and the people will hear. Be a voice for change. Be a voice for good in a manner that people do not consider to be sensational or negatively. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that will go a long way. Yeah. We need Nigeria's ambassadors. People, not ambassadors in foreign affairs. People will say, I pledge to Nigeria, my country. Unity and faith, peace and progress. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are unable to recite the national anthem or even the pledge.
Because they can't leave it. All right. So tell me, just the same questions I've asked him. What do you think citizens in Nigeria, since all blood is red, what do you think citizens in Nigeria can do, first off, because they are Christians, and then because they are Nigerians? So just quickly tell me in 1 minute so we can bring this to a close.
Well, as a Christian, I would not overemphasize prayer. I will extra overemphasize it. That's very, very important. The Bible instructs it, and we need to keep doing that. We should really, really understand that government is not our place to throw the stones. That's not what they are there for. They are also humans, and we should always give our support to them. And for me, one of the things that I would say as a critical reality for us as Nigerians is that in the scope of things, let us understand that people are beyond their opinions, people are beyond their religions, people are beyond their ethnicities. They are beyond all of those things that add flavor and coloration to their life. They are first human. And when you understand that, you appreciate the value of their life. And that's the real thing that we should do. So we are able to even digress and be divisive without being detrimental to one another. Right. So we can always foster that unity in diversity and keep understanding that we are growing in our opinions, we are able to come together to agree, and as humans, we are still one body, one blood,
nation,
one nation,
Under God.
Yes,
under God. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have loved this special edition of The Agenda, and you've heard from Pastor Abiodun Famojuro and Seyi Mafolabomi. Right? You
Yes.
get it?
Yes,
Okay,
we do.
okay. And of course, indeed, Christian lives truly matter because, and all Christians, I'm sure if you are watching now, regardless of your religion, you also would agree with me that Christians, Muslims, everybody needs to feel comfortable in a nation with an active government, and incessant killings must stop. So, these gentlemen have offered and proffered solutions and suggestive counsel to everyone involved. And because all blood is red, we end this session on The Agenda saying that all lives matter. You have a role to play as a citizen of the Nigerian nation, and for every level of government, everyone who is involved in governance, they are also humans. Their life matters as much as the life of the average citizen matters. You stay tuned. Enjoy the rest of the convention, which is coming to its peak shortly. And please remember that as much as Christian lives matter, all lives matter. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is LG, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
What's up? Who are you? I'm Sandra. How are you guys?
I'm fine. You look good.
Aww, thank you. But I don't get. Why are you putting on a mask? Are we not one? We should get to know each other.
Abeg, forget that thing, John. Now club we dey. We came to party. Let's just dance and rock it. Okay. Hello, baby. You look good. How do you like me taking you out?
I like you. Yeah.
I'll take you to your front. I'll take you.
Minister of Women Affairs.